All right, guys. Football team had a really good week of prep. I know all these guys are really excited to get back to US Bank Stadium in front of our home fans and expecting a great atmosphere. And we're preparing and the way we did prepare this week to hopefully play our best game yet. And we're going to need it against this opponent. Heck of a challenge. Looking forward to Sunday, though, for our players. Just providing a little bit of a game status update for some of our guys. We'll have 4 players going questionable. Lewis Seen, Marcus Davenport, Brian Asamoah, and Nick Mullins will go in questionable as well. Nick had a little, he's had some kind of back stiffness this week here and there. And he's been a little bit more limited than normal. We'll see how he's doing as we go into the weekend. And then other than that, we won't have, Metellus and Bradbury will not have injury designations, and they both participated fully today. And then lastly, I did just want to congratulate the Twins. Awesome seeing them advance to the ALDS. And I know how excited, the entire state of Minnesota is for them, and we're right there with those guys. Got a lot of respect for Rocco and what they've been able to accomplish, and looking forward to see what they do here this October into November. But other than that, I'll open it up to you guys.
Did you make Jaron the number 2?
As opposed to
Nick, I guess.
If we'll see how Nick comes out of today, how he feels. But yes, Jaron would be the number 2 if that was the case.
Just with Marcus Davenport.
I thought you were asking if it would maybe be me, but you didn't go all the way there.
Just with Davenport, I guess, how did he come out of that game after playing so much?
It's been really positive how he's responded to playing that kind of snap count. He's had a really good week of prep, and really it's just about managing kind of what we think he needs tactically to prepare, make sure technique and fundamentals with some of that time lost. I know Marcus has talked about that a little bit. He's had a good week, and hoping to have him on Sunday.
I guess another obvious question, no injury designation for Bradbury. He must have come through the week fine.
Yeah, he did well, and really, outside of a couple reps here and there, pretty close to a full allotment for him, and just continue to respond well. We'll see how he does after today, but as far as I'm concerned, we're excited to have Garrett back.
What will that do for that group, just to have him back in the middle of it this week?
He's just such a pillar of communication and getting everything, getting all 5 of those guys and Kirk, their rapport to get everybody all 11 on the same page. There's a reason why we feel real comfortable when Garrett's out there. I thought Austin played a really great game the other day, and was a huge reason why we were able to make some plays when we needed, run the football well, his communication. But there's no question with this type of defensive challenge, the different looks you can see personnel-wise and from a standpoint of just trying to make sure all 11 are on the same page. He's had a good week of prep, and looking forward to having him.
Defended you guys and Justin through the first 4 weeks been about how you would have expected, or maybe different?
No, I think we've seen a little bit different kind of flavors to it, all kind of under the same premise of making sure they try to get a body near him around the line of scrimmage with help over the top. In some cases, we've seen true doubles. Thinking back to KJ's touchdown against Philly, I don't think they planned to have a true triple team with the post safety as well, but just how things declare, and he draws so much attention from folks that sometimes that's how it can play out. And it's unconventional to the quarterback sometimes to see kind of where the defense deploys based upon our progressions. And I think Kirk's done a really good job recognizing some of these unique looks that they're not the first coverages you draw up when you're in the spring teaching coverages and fronts and things like that. And that's been a kind of a long process of evolution for all of us to really see how our concepts fit, what alterations we can make to them, where we can align people to provide, stress on the opponent, but clarity to us when those things present themselves.
Do you feel like that having a full offseason to work on that, I know that was something you guys started to see quite a bit last year.
Yeah.
Do you feel like the ability to counter some of the unorthodox looks you're getting has progressed through just the time you've had between last year and this year?
Yeah, I think we just have experience together, being able to react on game day, build plans that maybe, have some tools within those to adjust based upon what we see on game day. And then ultimately Justin's been able to just continue to make plays, get open regardless of the look, and separate and how our other personnel with TJ and Jordan and KJ, how our run game and using some of those bits and pieces of information to run it better, but then also make sure we're finding some other premier matchups because we feel like we've got a really dynamic group of skill players.
Kevin, with Mahomes, he has the lowest percentage of pressures that actually turn into sacks.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess from your perspective, like as a former quarterback, when you watch him escape, I guess, how does he do it? What do you see? It's very unique, obviously.
Yeah, he's got really three things that are so impressive when you watch him. It's the physical ability to avoid catastrophe and bad plays and negative plays and sacks and hits that he has that makes him the starting point. But then it's the feel. I mean, he's got such a feel to, based upon the front, based upon the rush pattern, without looking at it, he can kind of feel and know where he needs to leave the pocket or climb the pocket or move up and out in the pocket. And then the last thing is just the calmness that he's able to do it with. And then at any point in time, put all three of those factors together and then still throw the ball with unbelievable accuracy from really any platform. It really is, when you start studying them and watching the way he does it, either on crossover tape or in a weekly, when you're playing those guys, it's very, very impressive.
Kevin, do you expect to start the same guards, and will we change there?
Yeah, we will. We will more than likely start those same guards, but both Dalton and Blake, continue to get work and could see some playing time.
When Mahomes is that good at improvising, how do you then draw the line between putting pressure on him and sending extra coverage and possibly paying the price for that?
Yeah, I think you've got to be aware of how you're covering their skill players because they're dynamic. They've got some different skill sets, whether it's Tony, or Valdez, Scantling, and then how they pair with, how those guys, plus, some other guys as well, Sky, and I mean, the list goes on and on, but how they pair with Travis and where they're moving Travis around and his ability to do so much. Sometimes it's the top shelf, sometimes winning underneath the coverage, but he's absolutely lethal in that intermediate area, that 8 to 20 range when, they're either taking the top shelf and letting him work, trying to isolate him on linebackers within zone coverages, so it's a real challenge. So with all that being said, you still want to find a way to not let him, Patrick, be comfortable back there and either pick you apart that way. It's great when you can get pressure with the four guys that that you want, and how do you deploy your rush to try to activate better chances to get home. But then even when you do, he's going to find a way up and out, and we've got a plaster on the back end and then mix some timely pressures as well.
Travis is able to find those openings in the zone. How hard is that to do, and how does he make it look so easy?
I think the me to you factor with the quarterback in him is pretty spectacular because you can see sometimes on tape. Exactly what the play is meant to be, what it looks like on the chalkboard, and then Travis will just stop the route and uncover the other way or restart the route and uncover. It's just their ability to feel, kind of the how the play is actually playing out and then alter it based upon feel and comfort with one another is really what makes it so hard, because it's not just the extending of the plays, it's the extending of the plays with a total connection with him down the field of what he's doing. And that's where you got to try to just see if first and foremost you can try to get to him and get him on the ground, and then secondly, can your secondary, if you're in sort of combination coverage on him, or if you are in one-on-one on him, use the sideline leverage technique. All those things matter through the echo of the whistle and actually seeing, that ball leave his hand or hopefully get him on the ground.
Let's go. I need to ask about Jaren Hall and his development. I'm just curious what you've seen, really since the end of training camp.
With Jaren?
With Jaren.
Yeah, he's done a really nice job, and I was really happy to get him the amount of work we did in the preseason, and then ultimately, you can see him right over your guy's shoulder right now, still out here working and going through calls with Chris and Grant. He's always got guys after practice extra. Nick Mullins has been huge for him as well, and Kirk, just kind of bringing him along throughout his early part of his rookie year here. So, he brings some things to the table, from an athleticism standpoint that helps a guy without the reps and the preparation if he's called upon. to go out there and move the team. That's the job of the quarterback, is to execute and find positive plays and move the team. And we have a lot of confidence in Jaren. Doesn't have clearly a lot of experience, but that's where the other guys in the huddle would need to step up. And I view that as a huge responsibility for myself with a young quarterback in there as well.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.